Hello everyone, my name is Awat, and today I will be showing you guys the upcoming reworks for old maps and my upcoming update for Awat's otherworldly maps. This video will only go over changes to old maps and not any new maps. If you're a Lost viewer and would like to know more about Awat's otherworldly maps, please read the description. Without further ado, I will be going over the changes made now. You can see that Yushiana Heights has received some significant overhaul for the third time in a row. In 1v1, it now looks completely different, but you take it to a team game, you'll realize it looks basically the same with some minor changes. This rehaul to the generation aims to make it consistent across all player counts. I thought it was a little deceptive that the 1v1 version of the map looked nothing like the team game version of the map. Hopefully this will make the map more consistent and less deceptive. It looked the way it originally did because it was borrowing a bunch of code from Mirkwood, but it was about time that I started using my own code for the map. Don't get me wrong, the pathing is still borrowed from Mirkwood, but for the most part I wanted the forest to be consistent now. On the other hand, White Point has received significant overhaul as to how it generates its ponds and its cliffs. It should now be more cautious and more spread apart and be less clunky overall. On top of that, its gimmick has been redefined. Instead of having a bunch of extra relics in the center of the map, it will now have an extra settlement that you can claim for more population space. However, this settlement is stuck behind walls. If you're playing against AI, the AI will know to destroy these walls in the absence of another immediate threat. In King the Hill, the settlement disappears but the walls around it will stay. If you want a map to prevent rushing King the Hill early, this is the map for you. Additionally, the amount of goats on this map have been nerfed. There was way too much before. Moving to a much different climate, Volcanic Disruption will now have a bigger lava area in the center. All the Tartarian spawn will stay in this lava area for the most part. They might wander off around it, but they'll spawn in the lava area. Additionally, other things will be cautious of the lava area now and spawn away from it. This will make your settlements far away. Additionally, a bug relating to settlements spawning next to each other has been patched. They will now be cautious of each other. The lava area looks kinda small in 1v1, but when you get to bigger team sizes, you'll see just how big it gets. I would like to remind you all this lava has a special property of allowing units to walk on it, but you can't build on it. Similarly to White Point, Ubinopolis has received walls as well. However, these walls are different as they are much weaker than the walls found on White Point and will take a lot less energy to destroy. Additionally, if you're playing with bots on the map, the bots will not be prompted to destroy these walls like they are with the ones on White Point. This hopefully gives it more of a city look and allows for you to have a flank route. Tamona's Nest has received some huge overhauls. This time, the extra outposts have all been removed. Previously, on larger team sizes, there would be extra outposts that would spawn randomly within the center area. Those have all been removed in place of the center one. The center one now has a forest ring around it, and the entire map now has a square ring of forest around it, to hopefully have a feeling of more secludedness. Additionally, the amount of Gaia trees have been increased, so they'll be worthwhile to set up next to and harvest from. In case you don't remember, Gaia trees allow your villagers to harvest wood faster, allowing you to get an edge over your opponent, but the places in which they spawn may compromise your villagers' safety. Additionally, the chance for the bonfire to be lit has been increased because a lot of user feedback has liked how it looks when it's lit. However, that wood ring around the center area stays even if King of the Hill is enabled, unlike the outpost. This makes for a King of the Hill map where the center can only be achieved by cutting wood. This is similar to Zero Enclosure, without the limitation of being trapped in the area of your enemies. Additionally, in Castor El Manra, the monument spawning is no longer random. The previous randomness opened up a lot of opportunity for unfairness in matches. So now each of the monuments will spawn next to each person's respective resource, that being their far settlement, their far hunts, and their far golds. Hopefully this will make the monuments more fair and be in more viable areas in which you can use them against your opponent. Additionally, most of the snakes have been removed now. The only snakes that remain are the ones in the center area. Outlaw Waste has received significant nerfs to its resources. Food will now run out much faster, and in non-1v1 matches, gold will be less, encouraging earlier farming and caravan trading, which will slow down the pace of the game significantly. Additionally, there are cliffs that spawn only at the edge of the map now. These cliffs do nothing except be cosmetic. Just like Yushania Heights, Mat Theocrat received some significant changes once more. Well, both these maps have received overhaul after overhaul. I think we have finally reached a good state to lead them in. Going for more of an underwater aesthetic, since it is a destroyed Atlantis, Mat Theocrat now has aquatic animals in the area. The predators that spawn by each hunt have been replaced by crocodiles instead of the usual wolves. These crocodiles are slow and should give your villagers more of a time to run away. Additionally, the trees have been changed to peach trees to give you more of a coral look. And there are craters now in the ground in which the dead trees surround themselves around. Additionally, all the elephants and rhinoceros have been replaced with more aquatic hunt. They are all still aggressive though. Hopefully the sparse craters and forests keep the map from feeling too open without making it feel too choky either. The craters serve to give the map a unique identity. On January Fields, you'll find that more often than not now it will have more water around the edges. Just like Yushania Heights, I want to make it less deceptive, as previously the 1v1 look was significantly different than what you would get in team game. This change seeks to bring it more aligned to what it looks like a 1v1 consistently in all modes. After all, the water is meant to serve as a way to make the map more open and your villagers more susceptible to raids. Last update, Haven Exploration added a farm mechanic. to give it a new niche. However, I opted to exclude this from 1v1s. I am going back on that decision now and adding farms to 1v1s. However, the farm spawning will still be slightly different than what you get in normal team games, with there being slightly less farms and all the blast farms will be concentrated in the center. Once again, I would like to remind everyone that anyone can claim these farms. Just simply bring your villager over to it and right click on it and the farm will be yours to claim. This will hopefully give you more of a reason to fight over the center area. In both Fair Eter and Mount Awat, the pawns will now spawn to the edge in 1v1. This will hopefully make spawning much more fair in 1v1. However, this does not apply to team games where the spawning will go crazy still. However, in Fair Eter, the shrine now spawns next to your second town center. This is true for all players and all game mode sizes. Once again, this is a sort of housekeeping change that makes the game more consistent and fair, as the shrines will now spawn one per person with equal distance per person now. And they'll spawn in a position you can actually hold now, as opposed to previously where it spawned in a random place where you have to go out of your way to defend it. Ignoring the fact that Emerald Lush now has a rare version, you can see that it spawns with 7 trees next to you now. This will hopefully help out in case none of the pawns decide to spawn next to you. It should be a little more forgiving now if you have a bad starting forest spawn. Zhu1 has a similar mechanic in which it does the same thing but only for certain map sizes and settings. Typically in map sizes and settings where you already spawn close to the natural forest, it will not have it, but in settings where you spawn slightly further away, it will have that little forest, just to help you get started until you can move over there. Speaking of, a bug causing town centers and team games to spawn erratically have been fixed. They will now spawn right next to you in team games. This does not affect 1v1 spawning though. Bogdan is receiving a significant change to its predator system. Previously, it had a small chance of replacing the brown bears with snakes, but this chance was so low it virtually hardly ever happened. So I've updated this map to guarantee to spawn these snakes now, so be cautious when sending your scouts out. You may also notice that the rare version has a corrected minimap now. The minimap will now be green in the rare version instead of white. This was a bug I didn't know could be fixed until recently. The snakes shouldn't pose too much of a threat and can be easily wiped out, but hopefully they add more to the aesthetic and give it something unique over other maps. Moving on to the final significant gameplay change of the day, Alri Sud now has ice underneath the fountain. Just like the other maps, this will be present in King of the Hill as well, preventing you from building next to it. The map has also nearly been entirely remade. On player counts less than 8, you should hardly notice any changes. However, previously when you exceeded 8 players, it would turn the map into a circle and have a significant amount of water around the area. With this new version of the map, it should not do that anymore, and the map should consistently be a square on all map sizes, and only have a little bit of a ring of water around the map to allow people to flank. Additionally, your starting force has been pushed a little bit further away. This is a random change unrelated to anything else, but hopefully this gives it another sort of niche and unique thing to add to it, which is the main driving factor for most of the changes presented so far in the video. Since previously, when I was inexperienced, I just wanted to make a bunch of different maps with different aesthetics, and uniqueness of gameplay wasn't much of a priority. But now I want to make each map offer somewhat of a different experience. Now that I'm much more skilled at map making and can often achieve both. But these are all the gameplay changes. There will be some universal changes that apply to all maps in the mod. The most notable one being a relic change. All my maps have 5 starting towers and 3 relics in standard size. However, having the 3 relics scaled terribly in giant map sizes, as there would be more relics than you could even claim, with duplicate relics even spawning sometimes. This global relic change will make it so there's still 3 relics in standard size. However, in giant and large map sizes, there will be the same amount as there would normally be in a map. This should prevent so much relics that you don't even know what to do with them, and duplicate relic spawning. Expect map descriptions, map select images, and loading screen images to reflect all the changes that have been done since the previous update. This update is expected to come out 1 or 2 days after the Meteor releases. You will know it's out when there's a red dot in your mods tab telling you to update Awat's otherworldly maps. I look forward to seeing you guys' feedback on the map changes and the 5 new maps, including a very special Awat Nomad that has long been requested. Well, I believe most of the changes have been covered in this video. If there's any more that has been done since, I will update it in the description and possibly a pinned comment in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching and have a great day.
Skip.